So the emotion is just, it's raw, and we haven't had that too much the past couple records, and so that's been really exciting and scary, to be honest with you. It's a bit nerve-wracking to really touch on those tough things that are buried pretty deep within ourselves. So. We're here in Smokestack Studios in December 2011, recording our 5th record, our 4th on Goatee, and our first ever with Paul Moak.
He gets us, I feel, very thoroughly, more so than a lot of other people that we've worked with, and so I'm excited about that. There's nothing as motivating and encouraging as having someone who's at the helm that knows where you're going and where you want to go.
We've been playing all the songs together in the studio, and we've been keeping as much as we can of all 4 of us, and that's something that's different for us with Paul. And it also allows him to give suggestions as we're tracking and sometimes change our direction. And so it's really helpful, and it's just a lot of fun because all of us stay involved for the entire song.
So far, so good. The philosophy is completely different this time. We set out to make a really poppy, accessible record with big hooks and big choruses, and then went with the most organic producer we've ever worked with, which is pretty funny. He's a big advocate of vibe and of just getting the right feeling on a song and not necessarily doping it up with a lot of studio magic.
The studio is cool because there's just stuff laying around everywhere, noisemakers and gizmos, and there's just guitars out the yin-yang. So I've kind of made it a personal goal to not play the same guitar on any song more than once, or any one guitar on more than one song is my goal. And so far I've been able to do that, so that's pretty fun.
This album is Eric Newcomer's first full album with House of Heroes, and it's great. He's recorded a couple other songs with us before, and he's been playing live with us for about 2 years now. And he brings a really cool kind of new element, musically, stylistically, to the recording, to the songs that we haven't had before, and it's perfect timing because we're kind of taking this record in a little bit of a different direction.
This album will be the first time I think most House of Heroes fans will ever hear Tim really letting loose. I think it's coming out great. I think actually it's probably the most true to Tim's live performances, and the fact that if you see House of Heroes live, Tim is just going for it on the mic, and that's happening here, and it's pretty exciting because it's giving us a different sound. I was even listening back to our first few that we have done this week, and I thought, man, these don't sound like us completely, but it feels like us more.
Colin is kind of ridiculous. It's like he gets better even yet when he gets in the studio, and I think it's partially because he doesn't have to sing, which probably would help. I don't really know because I'm not a drummer or a singer or a singing drummer. It just looks so effortless for him to do a part, and then he just says, or Paul say, "How do you feel about that?" And he said, "I think that's the one. It felt good." And it's hard to disagree with him because it's always the one when he says that. So it's a good time. It's a lot of fun being in a band with a killer drummer, and he's a storyteller too. That's a good time.
I think AJ is selectively reserved on this record. He picks his times to really get after it with his bass playing, but for a lot of it, it's just, okay, what would serve the song best in this point? As the primary lyricist in the band, he's done a fantastic job of touching some the deeper emotions that we've kind of veered away from, as far as well, that's too personal. Let's write about something that we can write about characters without getting personal, and we can make the story about them and not about ourselves. And I really think that he's touched some stuff that on the deeper levels of our existence as people who are entering into our late 20s, early 30s, and have been in a band for 15 years together now. As I'm singing them, get in this headspace of, I mean what I'm singing. And it's important to me. And so the emotion is just, it's raw. And we haven't had that too much the past couple records. And so that's been really exciting and scary, to be honest with you. It's a bit nerve-wracking to really touch on those tough things that are buried pretty deep within ourselves. So